Hello, Jiva here. Day 2 of my self-expression challenge, and today I want to talk about the difference between seeking our happiness out there and really kind of building it internally. And if we think about it, I think most of us would say the promotion or the croissant or the beautiful partner or the cute dog or whatever it is for you is like the thing that is going to make you happy. But I'd love to argue today that actually it's our state of mind. And if we cultivate certain states, it can really change our world. And so I often talk about the experience of just walking down the street to the train station. And some days we can feel very agitated and kind of rushing down the street, like answering a text or like reading something from our boss, and rush, 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 and you get to the train and you just, like, how do you feel? Not great, right? And conversely, some days we feel super peaceful and we like walk down the street enjoying the walk and the air and the birds and the trees and the whatever. And the street hasn't changed. Just our state of mind has changed, and therefore how we experience the street and the behaviors that we take while we're walking down the street, all of that changes. And so this is a sort of pretty fundamental teaching, pretty basic thing that I think everyone gets intellectually, but just because it's so habituated in our states of mind, like how we behave, rather, we forget. And so, like the classic thing about attachment and aversion, we all have this kind of fundamental want to be happy, deeply happy, permanently happy. And I think when we get the sense that the thing is going to make us happy, we want more of that, we want more affection or more whatever. I went on about the examples, but you want more yum and less yuck. I want more yum, I want less yuck. And so the danger in that is that we can't control external circumstances really at all. Like the yum of a promotion is really dependent on how the business decides to do things. The yuck of getting laid off is really dependent on choices outside of your control. The yum of a beautiful, loving, affectionate day with your partner is dependent on lots of circumstances. Similarly, the yuck of like a difficult, painful breakup. There's so many factors at play. You're one of them, but like it's more than us. We're all interdependent. And so trying to cultivate a kind of peaceful, joyful state of mind can really influence how we perceive any situation, and that's way harder than it. Like, it's easy to say, very hard to practice all the time, like I said, because we've habituated so much. But I would just invite us to think, like, when I've woken up on the right side of the bed, am I more likely to see the bright side on the street to the way to work, or the grumpy boss, or the upset partner? And if you find a yes, then there's a serious question that's like, okay, well, how do I cultivate more of that? And so the invitation today is to say, well, if it's not controllable in my outside world, and if my outside world is influenced by my inside world, then what changes my inside world? And so there are lots of means and methods, but the one I'm connected to is meditation. And so my teacher talks about on the cushion and off the cushion practices. And so on the cushion, if you can cultivate and practice just patiently letting your mind settle, whether that's with breath or whether that's with resting your awareness on your heart or whether that's with a mantra or any means that you have, but just connecting to your potential for a peaceful heart. If you start doing that on a daily basis, you can begin to bring that off the cushion into how you engage with your world. And at first it might last 5 seconds while you walk from one room to the next and then get annoyed by your dog. But with intentionality, you can keep coming back and keep intentionally trying to bring a peaceful state of mind. And the kind of magic that happens, especially when you practice that off the cushion as well, is slowly, you start to create a new groove to see the world in a more peaceful way. If you think about the analogy of water running through a stream, like it follows the path of least resistance. If you've had a lifetime of being frustrated and cranky, the way your mind is going to flow is through that groove. And so if you want to have a different groove that feels like peacefulness, that might even feel like joy or blissfulness with enough practice, we all have to bring a lot of intentionality to practice that state of mind, because the state of mind influences how we perceive our world and how we behave in our world. And that creates the karma to continue to see the world in that way. So anyway, I think I'm rambling at this point, but the takeaway from today is, you don't just believe me, like explore for yourself. Does my happiness come from the things outside me? Or is it coming from having the right states of mind? And if you have even an inkling that perhaps it's inside out, then I invite you to consider a daily meditation practice and consider like making intentionality part of your everyday. Like, can I intentionally meet more situations with peacefulness? Or anything else, yeah, I would love to hear what your intentionality might be towards. And if you're someone that's done this before, I'd love to hear. Or if you're someone that's newly doing this, come back in 3 months and let me know if it's started to change your world. But anyway, wishing you peaceful states of mind. Hope that was remotely interesting. And see you tomorrow for day 3. Thank you.